Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meticulous Talks on this evening of October 30th. I am Chris Accords, and tonight I have a guest.
I'm Pancake. Glad to be here, Cursed.
Absolutely. You sound a little different than I'm used
Well,
to hearing you.
weather changes, messing with the sinuses and all that.
Tis true, tis true. Um, no, Pancake was supposed to be my guest tonight. Uh, he hasn't been around. Haven't heard
So
from him.
instead,
Yeah.
so instead, we're going to publicly shame him for 2 minutes on Twitch until he actually shows up,
Uh,
as is right and proper.
we shall see. Yeah, if he does come around, we'll gladly get him on here. But otherwise, Grandpa's was kind enough to step in on short notice. Thank you for that.
Naturally.
So, we did our first four quarterfinal games before Ponyville Cider Fest. Took a 1 week break. Now it's time for the semifinals.
Woo! Competition's heating up,
Mm-hmm.
and now we've got the sibling rivalry going.
This is very true. This is a matchup that's charged with a little bit of extra tension, I suppose you could say. I've already forgotten. Jacob beat Ivory, I think, in the quarterfinals, and Josh beat Cheese, or was it the other way around?
No, I believe that's the other way around.
Okay.
I will verify while you continue setting things up.
Yeah. It was those two. Not sure on the exact order, but yes, they got through, and now they are playing off against each other, with the winner going to the winners bracket final and a guaranteed top 3 finish. The loser, well, going down to face off against the bracket screws with me sometimes. Yes, the loser of this match will play against the winner of Pancake and Smithers, which
Correct.
is on YouTube right now. It was played this week. I uploaded it just yesterday. Not going to spoil who won that. You can go. Actually, let me. I'll just go find the YouTube link here.
There you go. And I did confirm that Jacob did play Big Cheese and Josh did play Ivory.
Okay. So yeah, if you want to watch the lower bracket match this week versus Pancake and Smithers, it's right there, along with all the other matches, including, all the previous streams and the lower bracket match between Ivory and Cheese as well. But tonight, it's semifinals. It's Josh versus Jacob. And the coin flip did come up core first. And both of them elected to play their pink combo list. So, should be a little interesting.
Absolutely. Mirror matches can always produce a unique style of gameplay, and if your audience tonight is anything like the audience that was present at Continentals this year, they'll be clamoring for this match for reasons I don't understand.
It's true. For what it's worth, well, Hithrock and I were both just very eccentric individuals in that regard first. But yeah, there's something about combo versus combo mirrors, especially. It's a style of gameplay that you don't get basically anywhere else. Because nobody's thinking about confronting problems and scoring points. Everyone's just, well, in this case, just watching how thick your opponent's deck is, basically.
Yep.
So, with that in mind, let's look at the decks. And as you mentioned already, they're not exactly the same, but they are basically the same.
Are there slight deviations?
Yes. There's, I think, one card of difference. So I'll just put Josh's deck up here.
Sure.
Jacob's deck is different in that it has one less Chrysalis and one more Somnambulous Blindfold. That's the only difference.
Both still tools that are useful against Reanimator, but also have alternative uses as well.
Yeah. And that is significant in this particular matchup because they both boarded out the blindfolds. And so their sideboards are slightly different due to that. Just slightly.
Just barely. So, taking a look here, this is a friend-heavy Griffin tribal variant of Living to Laugh that we have seen both of the Stueck brothers play for some time now. Key cards in here, as you mentioned, being Gabby and, of course, Living to Laugh and Golden Parachute for protection. Griselda also serves as a great method of removal because these decks very much care about having their friends. So if you can avoid playing a belly flop, you'd really like to. I think another key friend to point out here is Klugetown Citizen, because it not only can allow you to get 4 pink requirement on a turn when you need it, but more importantly, can allow you to very quickly dump non-essential cards from your hand in order to flip having a blast very quickly.
Yep, very much so. I honestly could have put the main on there as a key card too for similar reason. I mean, in this matchup, both of these combos sort of have a certain setup of friends that are on the board, and so both of them are somewhat consistently going to want to be using Pinky's ability to knock stuff off the opponent's side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've seen something interesting with both of the Living to Laugh combo decks that are currently present in core, or at the very least in the core lists among those in your invitational right now, which is I don't believe there are any of them that are currently running spontaneous song and dance. Am I
That
mistaken?
is correct. Yes.
So all of these decks are basically all in on trying to establish their board presence either the turn they're going off or in turns leading up to it. And in the having a blast mirror, the longer in advance you try to set up your board, the more likely it is that you're going to have that board disrupted by your opponent, either through the Griseldas or the belly flops or just having a blast herself. So it'll be interesting to see how both the Stuecks play this match, simply because the objectively correct decision might simply be to flip your main as soon as possible and then play nothing.
Yeah, quite possible. And which, as stated, is normally that's kind of the exact opposite of what these decks normally do. Normally, you get yourself up to Unity 7 so that I know this one's work, and then you do the whole Klugetown Gabby loop and kind of try to get there fast. I'm going to quickly switch the decks and see if anyone notices, by the way. Well, obviously they notice now, but...
Well, sure, because you told them. And the name's changed.
Yeah. But otherwise, yeah. It could, well, these guys are both good players. We assume that they're going to keep a good track on their ability to keep on doing the combo, but they could reach an end game where one is no longer able to actually do his thing as well if enough resources get knocked off. And
yeah, the amount of card draw that is also present here is going to be lower this game, simply because Honorary Yak is usually very good in matchups where your opponent is going to be maintaining a higher level of card advantage than you are. And while I know this one and Gabby can keep your hand at reasonable levels, you're not going to want to... It's going to be strange. They're going to want to try to draw cards quickly, but they're also going to want to try to draw cards at approximately the same rate their opponent is, and to remove methods of the opponent being able to get cards out of their hand, which is pretty hard to do given that having a blast can exhaust and discard any number, even if your opponent doesn't have any friends. So I could imagine a scenario where we'd see really weird plays where a player sitting with close to 8 cards in hand and no Gabby on the field, um, or maybe just a small wreck on the field, might choose to use Pinky Sense to put an honorary yak on top of their deck, uh, a tremendous number of cards in their hand to reduce their hand size as much as possible, and then draw the honorary yak on their next turn with the hope of being able to refill their hand very quickly. But again, I'm just spitballing. There's a lot of weird interactions here. I won't sit here and keep talking everyone's ear off. We'll see those as they come up.
Absolutely. And as I was saying, this is why we love combo versus combo. It's a you get these things happening that don't happen anywhere else. So with that, let's get to it.
2 actions. I'll put a pinky at home for 1. Back to you.
2 actions.
Okay.
Draw.
Both players obviously starting with Party Science and will want to keep that in play as long as they can, as that discount is very nice.
Put a pinky.
Even playing colorless friends will not shut that off, because the colorless friends will never have a color other than pink. They have no method of gaining so in this deck.
Looking at the starting hands, by the way, it is Jacob on the right, Josh on the left.
Thank you.
Oh, and I'm going to spend 1 less for that, obviously.
Looking at the starting hands, Jacob probably has the better run of things at the moment.
Well, it's interesting. He definitely has more unity, but his ability to get cards out of his hand quickly is more restricted, whereas Josh is able to not only get the discounts off of Gilda, which will stack, but also has the Kluge Town to dump the Chrissies if he so chooses.
Right. He has a much easier flip on the table.
Yeah. Back to you.
Now, of course, the change from Party Cannoneer to having a blast is very impactful in this matchup, as it means your opponent is not going to be able to activate their main in response to the trigger at the start of your score phase, because she now only triggers on her owner's turn. And so cards like Gabby that refill your hand to 4 at the end of your turn are safe for at least 1 turn cycle.
Yeah. Probably not much more than that if the opponent has their main flipped over. But 4 draws is 4 draws. Or, well, some number of draws.
Draws up to 4.
Yeah, mirror is good. Hilda.
Wow.
That's you.
So the discounts are free flowing now.
2 actions. Draw.
Josh doesn't have any Griffins in his hand.
Not currently, but he does have the I know this one.
Yeah. And he does have a Kluge Town and a Parachute, as you mentioned. So yeah, he can flip whenever he wants to.
Actions, ready, draw.
Now, I know this one also becomes tricky, because you also want to be careful about playing that if you're too far behind and your opponent has a large number of action tokens banked, as this is a matchup where you might see players trade that effect back and forth almost to the expenditure of all their AT.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's a card that
cheese sandwich.
Both of them have in their deck and want to use for that purpose. So,
well, if that isn't the most bizarre cheese sandwich placement I've ever seen. All right, that's good.
Cheese normally played to home.
Might.
Because there's always a pinky there. But both of them deciding to actually maybe confront problems.
Well, I think what they're trying to aim for here is
I'm going to pay 1.
Get the Party Sciences off the field.
And
sure.
2.
In the hope that
discard.
They can have a stronger deck. And Jacob is going for a really powerful play here. My guess is he is searching for a second Party Science so that he can set up for a DFO, score some points, get the AT rolling in, have a large board set up as far as Unity goes, and still be able to keep his
this is how we're gonna do this
discount per turn
I'm gonna try and
by having another Party Science come up.
Right.
Because he's got the DFO now on board.
Will respond.
And it looks like and it does look like Josh is going to have to spend that belly flop now, because he knows what it means if he doesn't.
Yep. You get rid of, I guess you get rid of your, Pinky at home, yeah, as the retirement for belly flop.
Right.
What do you hit on Jacob's side
With what?
is a question.
Well, the flip
Ask
that's
the
going to
hard
deny
questions.
the face-off for as long as
I'm going
possible
to
is
flop, obviously.
possibly the holiday spirit.
My holiday spirit into then the question. All of these being good choices. Doesn't it have to be opposing? Yes.
Looks like he's looking at one of the
I'm
three
gonna
over
hit
there.
Gabby.
Wait, Gabby he goes for.
Well, Gabby will provide the most value
I
over
failed to
time,
confront
even if
party
she wouldn't do
science.
anything
How
right
about
now.
party science?
You may confront party science.
All right.
Okay.
You.
We'll see if those points will be relevant
Two
if they increase the
actions,
action
draw.
tokens. Gain per turn for sure.
Oh, that's a good draw. That's a really good draw. Griselda here being able to spend only one action token to play her on either your or your opponent's turn. Absolutely fantastic.
And he has 2 griffins in play, so that'll hit anything he wants to on Jacob's side of the board.
Yep.
One. For
And someone is asking, did they just walk into an L2L mirror
Dismiss
match on
Gilda.
stream? Yep, you sure did.
My griffins.
It looks like he's going to opt to play Griselda now.
Gilda. So, yep. Now he's going to go Cluj Town. And yes, he'll be able to flip here.
I will discard Cluj Town, discard Chrysalis with Cluj Town for no effect. Do that again.
Reminder
One to
that
flip.
Cluj Town can only discard friends, so he does have to.
I will
go down
enter
to a
my
2-card
score
hand.
phase. Exhaust Pinky. Card 2 random cards.
But now has the Golden Parrot, who
Dismiss,
draws a
discard.
card off of I Know This One. Has completely cleared away
Oh, I do have
all the
Unity,
friends of
just
Jacob's
barely.
problem.
So that will get me one draw.
You have it pretty easily with Cluj Town. Oh wait,
I-
did you not make him pink? You just made
Cluj
him
Town is not pink.
colorless twice.
Yep.
All right. Oh yeah, good start. Doesn't have
In my
any way
score
to
phase, I will
rapidly
take a
draw
point,
his cards back
bizarrely,
yet,
and back to you.
Yep.
but only needs
Alright,
to draw
2
one of
actions,
those.
ready, draw.
Mhm. And in doing so, has also managed to shut off the Holiday Spirit. So
Okay.
this was a great play, given that he saw all the removal he could have access to, as he basically removed half of Holiday Spirit's power without having to actually spend a removal card specifically for it,
I'll pay
just
1
as a consequence.
for a cheese sandwich. Try to confront party science.
You're good.
You.
3 actions, ready, draw.
More removal.
Right, yeah. And so as
Take a draw.
as we were kind of mentioning earlier, Jacob really, really doesn't wants to play that I Know This One to draw cards, but really doesn't want to give Josh the ability to
cheese
draw
at
a bunch of
home.
cards with it.
I'll enter score phase. Exhaust Pinky. Discard 2 random cards. To dismiss. This reduces your pink the most for the short term. The silliest choice, though. Cheese is just better.
And now that Josh's Pinky is online, he's going to be doing this for the next few turns, probably.
And I'll take a point and back
Sure.
to you.
Yep. Alright, 3 actions. Card.
And this is, of course, a tricky thing is Jacob is going to continue drawing friends. He's going to want to get those friends out of his hand eventually so that he can flip his main over. Getting those friends out of his hand means playing them in most cases. That's going to leave them vulnerable to removal. That's going to reduce his ability to gain Unity 15 consistently. So momentum is very clearly in Josh's favor
Right,
here
I'll
as he
pay
has
1.
his removal engine online.
Yeah.
Well, mostly online. He needs to get a Gabby.
For a
in
holiday
play.
spirit.
Now, the big things that would change would
Pay
be
3
if
for Pinky.
okay, so
Wow.
Jacob bites the cost and flips
This
for
is.
3.
I'm not trading very well right now.
So he can start picking off, well, Josh has 2
I'm going
parachutes
to
in the
go
discard
to my
pile, but
score phase. Lost my main.
at least try.
An actually random choice.
Yeah, gotta
of
use 'em.
2 cards.
Now, what is interesting to note
I
is
wonder who
that
you're
Josh
hitting.
has randomly discarded 2 belly flops so far this game, and he's played 1 Griselda already. So the amount
Alright,
of
I'll take that.
additional immediate speed removal
I
that he has in
will
his deck
parachute.
has been reduced somewhat.
Right.
I get my 1 draw off that I know this one.
And of course,
And try to
Josh is
confront
going to
party
choose to
science.
save the friend.
You may.
Do.
Let's see what Jacob draws.
Oh, wow. Dead even decks right now. Alright. Brought 1 card. Up to 1 card in hand.
Top deck city.
I will pay to draw. And again.
Griselda takes him up to 3 griffins, and then Garner would be 4 griffins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
So in this case, I might just opt to play the Garner on this turn and then play Griselda on your opponent's turn, as either one of them are going to be 1 action token.
Right,
Well,
yeah. They are both hasty.
That's not actually true. Garner is free if it's played this turn, and
Whatever,
Griselda
I guess.
can cost
This
1
is
played
dumb,
on
but I'll do it.
Jacob's turn,
Um,
or vice versa. They're both hasty.
1
Yeah.
for Griselda, hitting cheese. I'll go to score phase. Exhaust Pinky,
He doesn't value it.
carding
Yep.
2 random cards to hit
Playing
one of your
the-
holiday spirits.
Pure removal game right now.
Okay.
Which, I mean,
Then I'll take a point and back to you.
yeah, we do need to start counting. Well, Jacob
Right.
still
Well,
has plenty of pink to get to
Actions
15, I
ready,
assume.
draw.
But
Well, yes, but also no. We've now seen 2 cheese sandwiches, a holiday spirit, a Gabby go away. There's 1 holiday spirit left in play. Like, yes, there is still enough, but is there enough in an AT efficient manner that's
Pay
also going to
1.
allow him to get out the living to laugh and have the card draw that
Discord.
he can dump into it?
mhm.
Boo. No response. I have no cards in hand.
Optional, so I'll put this on top.
I'm a little confused by that Discord play here.
I'm gonna pay 1. Banish Discord to place your problem.
Ah, that
Come
makes
on,
sense.
party science on top. No, that's not how that works.
Prospecting
Oh,
interruption
my ability
is
to confront.
perhaps his second
And
best
that's it
problem
for
in
me.
this situation.
Pass to you. Oh wait, no,
Well,
not pass to you.
it's
I go to
nice,
score
but
phase.
both players are currently at 3 points, so the number of action tokens gained over the course of most of the rest of the game, I would imagine, is probably going to stay at 3.
Right.
So
Whatever. Those aren't good cards.
I'm not entirely sure how much
I'll
Josh is going to value having that problem out here right now. This
use
is
the
not an
parachute.
aggro game.
Yeah.
You know, unlike some of the other variants that are capable of much burstier turns and have more AT efficiency,
Okay, now me.
these decks
Yeah.
are almost all in
3
on
actions ready.
relying
draw.
on Living to Laugh to actually close out the game. The rest of the cards in their deck can serve a
Pay to
purpose
draw.
in getting the point totals high enough to gain more action tokens per turn, but you're very, very rarely going to be actually
1 for I know this one.
you're almost never going to
I'll
be
draw
going
2.
for the aggro game plan,
you like
as
to
evidenced by
follow
the
or
fact that they are
whatever?
playing a problem whose
Little
requirements they
bit.
cannot meet. And they're playing no
Yeah.
dilemmas.
Yeah.
So, Jacob does answer the I know this one. Does give Josh the opportunity to get it again.
I will not.
He elects not to.
Okay.
And then the Unity draw.
Now, yes, having drawn a Gabby, he's now got all the pieces. Although his golden parachutes are gone, so his Gabby at least is only going to survive one turn.
It'd be good to see a deck count when we have an opportunity.
A 1 for a Gabby at home.
I know I checked it at some point. Unfortunately, I can't check it live.
I'll play a Pinky Sense. I will enter my score phase. Exhaust Having a Blast. Discard 2 random cards to dismiss your Holiday Spirit.
Yeah, so I don't care.
I'll take a point. I'll take 4 Gabby draws if you let me. Oh yeah, no actions.
I let you.
Okay.
There's the Living to Laugh.
Reactions ready.
Yep.
Draw.
Only needs to, well, hold on to Living to Laugh. I guess, yeah, he has Pinky Sense now, so he can put it safe on top of his deck if he's doing a Having a Blast discard.
Pinky Sense.
For most purposes, yes. You do still risk that with your opponent starting a face-off.
Right.
So having a second Pinky Sense available that you can dump another card from your hand would be useful. I would not be surprised to see
I'm gonna go to score phase.
Gabby on Josh's phase
Three at random,
or on Josh's
hit Cluj
side
Town.
of the field. Bite the dust, but that
Okay.
is an interesting choice. He's choosing to get rid of Cluj Town.
That is interesting, yeah. Because Josh
me.
can still discard with Having a Blast.
Yeah, okay. Ready, 3 actions. Draw 1 card.
I mean, he's got plenty of Unity. Well, does he have 15 Unity yet?
3,
7,
7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He's at exactly
I'll play this
15.
Pinky Sense.
Yeah. I'm not sure why Cluj Town over Gabby then. Yeah. I will have to ask him about it sometime, I guess.
Mm-hmm. He may have simply been distracted by the fact that so many of his friends had gotten removed that he wasn't thinking about all the various synergies present.
1.
It can be tough to recover from tilt
a
in situations
Garner.
like that.
It is possible, yeah. Certainly looking
That's
at
going to
the
reveal the top 5.
looking at the game state right now, it would be understandable to be feeling a little agitated, perhaps.
So Prismlight asks, how bad of an idea is it to burst to 6 points and then stop? Bursting to 6 in some cases might require more effort. At the very least, getting the action tokens up to 3 per turn, so getting to 2 is a good idea. But Josh is currently losing nothing by having all of those friends at a problem. And
Bound to have a hand.
since he's also got a source of card advantage through Gabby being able to draw 4 cards every turn for free, or every turn cycle for free, even letting Jacob take 1 extra AT the turn that their point total goes from 5 to 6 is not going to be detrimental.
And I will...
However, trying to intentionally spend a lot of your action tokens and make vulnerable a lot of your Unity in this match in particular, just for the purpose of getting to 6
discard 2 cards for no
points,
effect,
is probably not worth it.
I will take 1 point,
The,
and then 4 Gabby draws.
The gap from 2 to 3 is a 50% action token increase that you get for only 2 points. Versus at 6, it's... I guess that's 33%, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
1 more.
Okay, now this is interesting. You have a few options.
One
can play the Gabby out, discard Motivational or Mysterious Disappearance, and then play the Honorary Yak.
That's not quite what I wanted.
Kind of surprised he didn't opt to do that, in all honesty.
For Gabby.
Okay. He can still do that, right?
He can, but he paid to draw 1 more after drawing his first Honorary Yak.
Oh, right. So,
I'm gonna go to score phase.
Okay.
Putting on Aurillac on top of his
Just
deck.
having a blast.
Yeah, it looks like he's
Discard
He's
2 cards.
planning on playing it next turn.
It's Gabby.
Okay, he's fighting the Gabby, which is fine.
My
But
Gabby
now
last for
you
the
know
priority
you've
window.
exposed another one of your Gabbies, one of which was already
Yes.
dismissed, and you're not going to have the rec to
Heck.
play your honorary
Don't
yak.
score. Turn, draw 4.
Point. Well,
Pass to you.
but no, on Aurillac hasty.
Okay, readies. 3 action.
Oh, that's
can
true.
draw.
That's true. I did
Although
forget about
it's not, you're not drawing that many cards with it right now.
that. I forgot that the Gabby would also stick around for one turn cycle,
3
so
for a living to laugh.
he would draw it back.
I
Probably
Bit risky at
would
this
have played that
stage,
yak
but
right after your opponent drew.
Shut up.
would have been drawing 2 cards, I
One.
think.
Yep.
For a Gabby.
Here's another one.
Pinky sense to put this on top.
So I did check the decks there.
I'll go to my score phase.
I didn't see
That's
Jacob's,
pinky.
but I know Josh had 17
Discard
cards in his
2.
deck at the start of this turn.
Hit Gab him.
So
That
he's
gives
getting
me a
close.
draw that is net worthless because then I'll draw up to 4.
Yeah, at this point, Josh has been able to capitalize on Gabby being in play for multiple
but
turns
I scored a
compared
point
to
first, yeah.
Jacob's 1, and
Okay.
he's already got the
Reactions.
Unity on board.
Ready.
Without having more options for removal, you're not going to be able to clear
Okay.
enough of his board away to deal with the Unity. Well, I don't expect these matches would end up going to the full 2 hours, 45 minutes just based on the decks they're playing.
It's
I'd
usually
probably
2,
save myself the
but
stress of
that's
having to
fine.
fight through this thing and just
Yeah, this is strange.
give
Mostly
Josh game
hedging
one at
my
this
bets
point.
just in case we
It's reasonable, yeah. Like
deck each other out and don't have Unity.
there's really, I guess, there's immediate speed answers to the living to laugh, I suppose. Given that Josh has already used 2 parachutes.
Well, that's a fair point.
Going to exhaust Pinky Sense. Discard a parachute.
Now,
Maybe that's his
Pay
thought.
2
Maybe he'll just try to save as much removal as he can and hope to be able to just nail
Or living to laugh, maybe?
the living to laughs in play.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Now-
I did it, so there it is.
there's always the problem that sure, that prevents Josh from winning. How does that allow you to win? That is a fair question. If this like in the hypothetical end game where they're both out of resources and have to aggro it out, well, one player is a much better aggro board than the other at the moment.
Now, if I was in Jacob's shoes and I was going to keep playing this out, I'd play the Cluj Town right now
I'll pay 1
to
draw.
force the.
Okay,
Oh, that's a 3 and
something.
not. And he was 1 AT shy. Well, okay, no, I guess that's not true. He was 1 power shy.
Not something very
I was
good,
hoping there was a
so
way he'd be able to start the face-off at the party science, send all of Josh's friends back home, because right now,
I'm going
Jacob's
to
best method of disrupting
score
Josh's
phase,
board is
exhaust,
forcing a face-off
having
to
a
force
blast.
Josh to
Retire
resolve
stuff.
moments.
Yeah, I see.
I'm gonna do
It's possible he's
let's do
well, not willing to
3 at
give up his
random,
own party
going
science for that.
living to
Although I
laugh.
guess he stacked that deck. Presumably there's another party science on the bottom of it. So
Shoot. Griselda.
Ooh. Those were not great hits.
well,
I don't confront. Pass to you.
the parachute's good. The others were bad. Yeah.
Readies. 4 actions. Draw.
All right. So I just checked it there. 12 cards in Josh's deck.
1 for a Gabby at home. 1 to
Interesting.
draw.
Now we can start doing the math over on Josh's side. Can't get there this turn.
1 for belly flop. Griselda targeting living to laugh.
I'm gonna protect her.
We'll see a parachute being used.
if he discards everything and then draws 4 more, he'll have 8
Pay to draw.
and then 7. Okay, wait, now he's
2
got...
Pinky Senses. These on top of my deck.
Now, it is worth noting that is the third belly flop, and
Enter
we've seen
score
2, if not 3 Griseldas from Josh
Pinky,
already,
get
so
rid of
his
3 random
immediate
cards,
options for
targeting moving
disruption
to
are
life.
very, very low.
Right.
Okay, let's see.
Josh and Jacob still has parachutes to spare. So Jacob's
Mhm.
board is probably, well, at least as far as immediate speed disruption goes, secure.
Yeah, we'll protect her again.
Goreface, I still get a point. Draw 4 with Gabby. Back to you.
Yeah. And note that Josh explicitly
Right.
saved that Chrysalis,
Readies.
which means he's
Actions.
considering
Card.
the
It's my
possible
first
endgame
draw
where
of
his
the
living to
turn.
laughs
Draw
are all in the
again.
discard as well.
That's true. Being able to banish Chrysalis to
Okay.
effectively become a copy of your opponent's living to laugh, or even your own, are all fine choices.
Eight.
So with 8 cards in deck, 6 action tokens next turn. I think Josh. Yeah, Josh can do it easy, right?
8 cards in deck, 6 AT next turn.
Does still need to play a living to laugh.
Yep, he can play living to laugh, then he'll draw 1 for
one,
start of
draw.
turn, that'll bring him down to 7. He could spend 3 to draw the remaining 3, then discard everything from his hand, hope that Jacob is holding no immediate speed disruption before score phase anyway, pitch your whole hand to score phase, and then draw your remaining 4 with Gabby.
Yep.
Okay.
This is, of course, an enormous risk, given that you currently have no parachutes in the discard pile, but there are 2 Pinky Senses in play. So if you just drop a Pinky Sense early, then you're probably in fine shape. Your opponent has exactly 1 friend they can use for belly flop. Griselda won't do anything.
Cheese sandwich at home.
Well, now there's 2 friends.
And I'll pay
If I was
1.
Josh, I'd be looking through Jacob's discard
And I
pile to
know
see
this
how many
one.
flops are in
Have
there.
I hit
Right.
7 Unity?
Now I know this one here.
2 draws. Would you like draws?
If I was Jacob
see
or
here.
Josh, yeah, I'd take a draw here. That seems great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he does agree with you.
Oh gosh. Oh boy. I'm obviously in trouble if you do that one.
Jacob debating whether
Well,
he's
I'm in
going
trouble
to.
anyway.
All right.
So I'm gonna pay 1 to draw 2.
Okay.
Well, it's something.
Okay.
It can't hit anything relevant.
I will not follow.
Trigger.
There's the Unity 7 trigger.
So, oh yeah, you're talking Griselda. He doesn't have enough Griffins to hit living to laugh.
Right. In fact, he doesn't have enough
Pinky
Griffins to hit
Senses.
anything.
Discard a golden parachute.
I guess he can still.
That
No.
doesn't
Yeah, it's
solve the issue at hand.
draw for belly flops, I guess.
So I'm gonna pay 1 to draw.
Well, okay. It's something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done paying 1 to draw.
It's not well, as long as Josh gets rid of
Ask
that
you.
parachute, then it's not
One
enough.
exhaust Pinky.
But.
Okay. Readies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's no living to
Actions.
laugh to hit, so. Would Unity have disrupted it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? No, there was nothing you could do to disrupt the Unity. Oh, there is.
Exhaust Pinky
If he had
Sense,
actually
discard
used
a golden
Pinky
parachute,
and not discarded the belly
Yeah.
flops and hit Cheese Sandwich
then
at
I'll
home,
draw.
Josh would have been 1 Unity or 1 pink shy of the Unity.
Huh. But I guess, like he has 5 AT. I think he has 5 cards left in his deck right now. Still needs to play Living the Laugh. Oh, maybe he isn't actually able to play something to get back up.
Holiday Spirit would work.
Right, but
Because he's got 2 Gabbies in play. He can pitch the rest of his hand to.
right, but there's 5
Just need to
cards in his
calculate
deck right now.
how
Are there 5? He paid 2 to
hard
draw
I should push right here.
during Jacob's turn, which brought him from 8 down to 6. Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. So, yeah, at least he wouldn't have won this turn.
3 for Living to
Mhm.
Now,
Laugh.
we're not in that world, so
Pay 1 for belly flop. I'll trade Living to Laughs.
Yeah. Use your parachute.
Mm.
Or don't.
or don't. I mean, he's clearly thinking about something.
My guess is the Chrysalis.
Fine.
Okay.
Guess so.
He says,
I
okay, I'll
will-
wait another turn.
Which, yeah, I mean, yeah, he has the ability to do that.
Exhaust Pinky Sense, put this on top of my deck.
Jacob's not winning anytime soon.
Go to my score phase. Actually do my first random choice this game. Discarding 2. To try to hit cheese.
I have to let you hit cheese.
And that is the sort of smart play to make sometimes.
Well, I don't think he has a choice. I don't think he's got a parachute left.
Okay.
If he does, it's only 1. I know he's used 2.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
I
yeah,
do
yeah,
score
that's
a point.
that's
and now
definitely
it's
his
back
last
to you.
one.
You've also got Gabby draws.
Oh, yes. Man, I'm missing all my triggers.
All right, 4 actions. Ready. Draw.
Okay.
Have no friends.
Belly flop again.
Gotta get it, yeah.
Got to get it and be able to have a friend you can play.
Right. Just those
there-
are all expensive friends at the moment.
Well,
Oh,
they're 2 AT.
I guess, yeah. Well, Griselda's the only one that's 2 AT.
One to draw.
Living to Laugh is also
Game
2.
about drawing cards.
No, she's 3. Isn't she?
Party Science.
Oh, right, of course.
And Griselda costs 3 as well.
Right.
Which would only be 2 through Party Science.
Maybe 2, yeah.
1 to draw.
Well, there it is.
Okay. You've got the window.
Does he see it, though?
I will. A 1. Gabby.
Uh-huh.
Yikes.
I think you put the belly flop on
Far away
top.
from being useful.
How dare you?
And you pitch the rest and hit the sandwich at home. And then have the belly flop drawn guaranteed. I think you have to.
Yeah, that's it. I pass to you. I don't exhaust my main.
Okay.
Oh, fascinating.
Okay.
I
That should
don't
be it then.
understand that.
You can only do one kill.
Well, they drew another living to laugh anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
It's absolutely impossible.
I
to
don't
do
know if
more.
Jacob
Yeah,
saw
okay.
that
So,
line.
no need to be fancy. 3 for living to laugh.
I trade.
I'll use my parachute.
How dare you?
I mean, it is perhaps understandable to sort of look at that mess of cards and just think, he's
In
definitely
case I'm
got
somehow
15.
missing
There's
something,
nothing
I'll
that I
put
can
this
do
on
about
top.
that.
Well, the thing that
Think he has started
surprises me
score
most
phase.
here is how
Discard all
little
these.
both of these players
Yeah.
have been checking their
Go for
opponent's
with Gabby.
discard
I do have
piles.
the pink.
That is one of the
Yeah, you
most
do.
valuable
Yep. Somewhere in
pieces
these
of
8
information
cards
that
is
you
my
have
belly flop.
in this game.
Yep.
Because
Luckily,
it's almost
you
a
don't
mirror,
have the friends yet.
you have
for
an
it.
idea of what your opponent
I
has
know,
sideboarded because you've probably
you
discussed it with them in
spent
the
all
past.
game having Griselda be removal, and I
You
didn't.
have a count of all the important cards. So, very, very surprised we were not seeing more. Maybe they're just keeping track in their heads, which could be the case. Prism Light asks, is Jacob on tilt? Maybe. It's also possible he just didn't see those lines.
Could be. It's fair to say that for a good portion of that game, he was clearly the disadvantaged player. But he's also, well, not a professional, but a seasoned player. And probably has played this matchup several times. I would assume these two practice with each other.
One would assume so.
But in any event, that means that Josh takes game 1. And we move to game 2, the adventure match.
All right. Whose list are we looking at first?
Let's see. I think we've seen both of these decks already. In the tournament, that is, not tonight, obviously. Let's just start with Josh.
Okay. I'm going to refuse to comment on this deck out of principle.
Oh, really? Okay. Actually, Josh here in the chat letting us know that actually they don't play that practice match particularly often, given that it is what it is. So I suppose that makes some sense. Let me see. Josh's game 2 deck. Right. So this is the Tempest Shadow AT combo. Kind of looks like control. Kind of looks, well, it's AT combo. Let me just count them up here. 1, 2, 3, and then this. Oh, there are no same days here. So it's 9. No, Grogars. 11 cards that generate action tokens in here. Yes. And you play all those, and then you have some troublemakers, and then you miss main to win. Like
as Animoy says, his deck is good.
Yeah.
But you are missing the entrance exams and the trouble with Trixies.
This is true. This is true. I always forget about problem decks. And given the deck he's playing against, it is possible that we might actually see some problems change.
Someone says no Triad. Correct. We are not seeing Triad here, which is interesting. But there's a lot of chaos control that's going on here with the Fernandos and the Frozen Imagicites and the ability to just put high power flips on top of your deck.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of notable that he's boarded out a fair number of his troublemakers.
Well, easy as pie. You're not going to want to flip Lyra back over. That's only going to give her more value. 2 of the Grogars. I have not looked closely at Jacob's deck, but I would imagine that through a combination of dilemmas and problem replacement, he's not going to get that much value out of it, and there may also be some immediate speed disruption. Or, I'm sorry, immediate speed movement that could be used. I don't know. We'll have to take a look. And the Apple deliveries, again, make sense here. since it is very unlikely that Jacob playing the Lyra Orange aggro deck is going to want to wipe the board. We have seen an obscene amount of success coming from decks that have this basic shell of purple main, numerous AT generators, some troublemakers to block off problems, and a suite of disruptive events, specifically in purple, orange, and then white for the win condition. It is disgusting what a lot of these decks can do, regardless they lean towards the chaos element of control, like Josh's deck does here, or they run more disruptive events like sudden closure, like several others that are in the tournament.
Yes.
The one thing that is interesting to note here is that many times you can see these decks choosing to run School Shutdown as a method of resetting the board if things go south in conjunction with Magical Misfire. We see neither of these cards here. Instead, we see Captain of the Seven Seas as the primary method of board wipe if you have to. And that probably makes sense given that Josh is choosing to run Apple Delivery here. It could synergize very well with Captain of the Seven Seas. Josh is also saying ban its pants off. I don't know which card you're referring to specifically or if you're referring to the deck, but shameless plug for SimStream tomorrow, question mark?
Perhaps. Yeah, could you actually remind us all what Apple Delivery does and me? I totally forgot.
Sure. So Apple Delivery is an immediate speed card that says choose one. It's a 2 AT 4 rec orange event that says immediate choose one. Your friends have persistent this turn, or your friends can't be frightened this turn. If you played this card during your main phase, choose both instead.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
And the combination of persistent and can't be frightened means you can replace persistence frightened with the fact that the friend can't be frightened, or rather, you can replace the friend leaving play with persistent, and then persistent has no impact on your friend because your friend can't be frightened.
Exactly.
And all your board just sticks.
Yeah. Very good if you're, works great with Applejack.
Josh says ban the deck. Shameless and plugs. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll talk about that later. In the meantime, let's look at Jacob's deck.
Yeah, let's look at Jacob's. Now, I didn't want to have like the same card represented more than once over there in the key cards, but I kind of wanted to just put 4 breakdowns over there. Because it is the card that really gets Josh's deck good.
I mean, you are not wrong. Through a combination of Heatwave and Bailout and the fact that almost every single one of Josh's friends exhausts itself, yeah, if you land a breakdown, you're in great shape, provided your opponent doesn't immediately have a Bailout or a Heatwave. Or an App Kicks.
Otherwise, sorry, go ahead.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Otherwise, Jacob kind of taking a bit of a what's the word I would use? Distributed, I guess, approach to the sideboard. Kind of just taking one off of a few cards. Actually, leaves himself with 46. Only gets rid of 4.
Pirate Ship, Rockhoof Shovel, sure. If you're expecting that your board is going to be harder to keep around, then the resources that are supporting that board and aren't doing anything to advance it themselves are going to be a little bit less valuable. Desert Road, obviously, still very nice. Haven Bay, interesting, high-value card. Might have chosen... Well, I guess he's anticipating that he's going to make his opponent have it that turn. And so the Berry Punch is going to be more immediately impactful, whereas Haven Bay ramps up in value over time. And then the food fight, yeah, you know what your opponent's playing. You know that they have very few friends that have 3 or more power in their deck. It's basically the Doctor Who's and the Catojacks and the Starlights, and I don't even think Starlight's in here. Is she?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she is.
Okay. Well, if Starlight's in there, it's still an option, but I mean, all of those things can also be exhausted, which means just keep your breakdown around.
Pretty much, yeah. Desert Road, good for that a late game scenario as a way to, if that's in play, the missed main win condition is off the table. The opponent has to deal with that first.
Can we go back to Josh's deck for a brief moment here? I'd like to take a look at something because there was an interaction that came up last year in the Invitational with a deck with a similar shell. And I'd like to see if any corrections were made for this year.
Okay. Care to enlighten us on those who weren't here?
So this is fascinating because last year we saw myself and Josh play, and he was running a deck whose game plan was almost exactly identical. Gain a lot of action tokens, use some chaos effects to disrupt the board, and ultimately miss main for the win. If we take a look here, let me just confirm, I'm looking over everything to be sure I'm not missing anything, and I don't think I am. The only method of resource removal that Josh has in his deck is Torque Wrench. Which means if Jacob can ever find a way to get rid of both of Josh's Torque Wrenches and can resolve a Desert Road, he has cut off Josh's primary win condition. Or secondary, depending on what Josh chooses to do.
That appears to be correct. Yeah. That would appear to work.
So the answer is, Dear Princess Celestia, I didn't learn a thing!
Oof. He's here to hear that.
That's why I'm saying it. Alright. Anyway, we can go back to Jacob's deck.
Oh yes, Jacob's deck, sure. Yeah, we've seen Pancake was playing a similar version of the deck too. So we've seen like Lyra Orange a few times now in the Invitational so far. Don't know if we've really seen it shine yet though. Normally Apple Bloom into Follow My Leads into Berry Punches and Haven Base kind of is the name of the game. As mentioned earlier, in this particular matchup, really looking for those breakdowns.
Yep. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Now you will notice we did something that screwed up the score point and action token trackers in the room. We weren't entirely sure what, but it still works.
Yep.
They are resolving their mulligans right now.
Josh is holding on to the exact sort of hand that you would want to see almost every single game with this deck. If I had a hat, I would eat it if he mulled this hand. Jacob, on the other hand, is holding a significantly slower hand that does have a Desert Road and a Heat Wave.
Not good enough.
But almost nothing else. However, he also has a main who can flip early. Looks like he's still going to opt for having some cards he can play before he gets value out of Lyra.
Right.
And hey, there's a breakdown for you.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
All right.
Your methods of getting into pink beforehand are harder, but we'll see.
I'm ready to start.
Yes.
2 actions.
Let me put those down for us.
I choose orange, and then I pass.
2 actions. Draw a card.
Just keeps
Show
getting better.
me Factory Jack turn 1.
To play a Factory Jack.
Yeah, I actually just can't watch Smithers' recorded gameplay video. It's going to cause me too much pain.
2 actions.
And so this is already giving me like nom-level flashbacks.
Well, this is not how I usually start, but It's good enough.
I mean,
Fun.
I can tell you that the
Or fire
commentators
friendship.
appreciated your
Gaming,
agony.
everyone's favorite choice, Pink.
I heard.
2 for breakdown. Get that mess out of here.
Okay.
I do respond to breakdown.
Oh, you would.
You gotta do it.
Yep. That does, only take care of it for 2
Good
turns.
fire for Pink and everything.
Now, it is worth noting that
Okay.
since
See you.
6 of Josh's 9 AT generators can exhaust themselves at immediate
actions,
speed,
ready,
breakdown
draw.
actually doesn't do as much by itself as you'd think, especially once you've revealed that you have one either in play or in hand, as your opponent will just start exhausting their Starlights and their Applejacks at the end of your turn.
Correct. In that little window where you aren't able to
And-
touch them.
2 for Twilight.
But it'll be useful
Exhaust
against
those guys.
cover to
for
cover, at
2
least.
actions
Mhm.
for a Twilight.
God.
Exhaust
Where are
Twilight.
my
an
breakdowns?
action. Back to you.
Where could the breakdowns possibly
Alright, 2
be?
actions, draw a card. Well, fail to ready, and draw a card.
Now, a Foff here is not terrible.
And then,
You can drop a
Because
Foff,
I'm obviously
orange,
pleased as punch
and
with
then
this
play a
board state,
Heat Wave.
I pass.
and shut off both
Okay,
of your
Moment of
opponent's
truth. Can
cover
I
to covers
respond to the
to
breakdown?
stop them from gaining action
Meticulous
tokens
1.
temporarily.
Bottom.
But it's also a matter
Second
of,
Meticulous
are
1.
you wanting to trade
Bottom.
one of your cards and 1 AT
Gain 2
for
actions.
your opponent's 2 action
Draw
tokens?
card.
Yep.
Boy, what a draw from Josh here early.
Mm-hmm. Have to assume, takes a bunch of action tokens.
3 exhaust.
Staff would be the...
3 actions.
Or wait, no. You flip Tempest here. You definitely have enough AT for it. And then you can play Staff and frighten that breakdown.
Then I will pay 2 to flip Tempest.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious what he'll grab here. Okay, makes sense. AT generator that can't be disrupted by...
Exhaust him for an
breakdown.
action.
Guess I'm up to 4 AT generators already.
2.
Oh, I'm sure those
hooks,
won't all stick around.
Sure.
whom I will exhaust.
Oh shoot.
What's up?
What is breakdown's power? Is it Napcakeable
It's
or?
Yes, it's
2 for
2.
stick.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Oh, sure.
No,
Right,
I
but
mean,
he-
I can't do anything.
he
with this,
he doesn't
yep.
have enough AT to play the Napcakes this time at least.
1
So
to challenge
Sure.
breakdown.
Yep.
But he is going to send it home.
Oh,
Best I had.
good.
Oof.
Oh, and another one gone.
Well, at least you didn't kill her.
Oh, just brutal.
Yeah. She's frightened. She
Okay.
should be. Then I
Hey,
will
won
take a
that
point
face-off, huh? Yep, you got it.
Okay.
and back to you.
All right, 2 actions.
Well, he can still
Ready. Draw a
Well-
card.
rally her and use her this turn at least.
Okay. Well,
It's 2 AT every
Definitely-
turn to get rid of 1 action
definitely
token
can't be
generator.
having more of this crud. Ready break or rally
Well,
breakdown.
as far as he knows, based on cards that have been revealed.
Oh,
Obviously,
yeah.
we know
there's
that's not going
more.
to be the case.
We don't have the crucial card yet, but it's only a matter of time. You have
And at this
so
point,
many
flipping
action
Lyra
generators,
loses you 2 bailouts and a heat wave.
but you don't have the crucial card.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
That's what matters. Let's break down. We're gonna hit a cover to cover.
Yeah, gotta hit the
Sure,
most
good
valuable
choice.
one.
Thank you.
Started
They're
fighting
all
back.
fairly good choices.
Yes, that's the problem.
Jacob does have a
okay.
Big
One,
Mac. You can get enough
This
orange
is not
with.
how this deck
yeah.
likes to enter, but here's the other fire of friendship, now in orange flavored.
Whoa.
2 for Big Mac.
Big Mac coming down, get that
Right.
staff out of the way. Sure, makes sense.
Of course, your opponent always has
Okay.
another one in hand.
Go to score phase.
Of course
fail
they
in
do.
front. I'll eat the staff.
But-
on us.
Now, Big Mac is not going to be napcakeable.
You.
Okay.
until it is frightened and then
Readies.
unfrightened.
2 actions.
So there's at least
Meticulous
that.
1.
However, it does mean that Josh is going to be able to get a tremendous amount of value out of the cards in his hand right now,
I'll
as
keep
he
that
can
on
play
top
his staff, start a face-off
and draw
against
it.
the Big Mac, and Napcakes the breakdown.
I'll take 3 actions.
And still have enough AT to play the Heat Wave.
I will pay to draw.
Interesting.
It doesn't change your plan for this turn. I don't think.
It doesn't change your plan for this turn, but it does leave you with no action tokens.
Yes.
Exhaust hooves.
Yep. that card is we all
Wait a
know
second.
it's
Did I use
Magicite.
Meticulous? Can't remember.
Right.
Okay, I do have to look at this card. I
Yep.
didn't use Meticulous. All right.
So I am assuming that he's just thinking that he doesn't need to play the Heat Wave in his hand on Jacob's next turn, and being at 0 for a turn will be okay.
Yep. Well, that seems reasonable.
Or he just might not
Go for a
use
stick.
the Napcakes. We'll see. I'd be surprised, but we'll see.
1 for Napcakes. Hitting breakdown.
Oh my gosh, there's already one on the bottom of my deck, you jerk.
I will fight the Big Mac.
That I win. I didn't.
Okay. So yeah, that's 2 breakdowns effectively gone.
Take a point and back to you.
Okay.
Don't
3
believe
actions.
Jacob has any way to shuffle his deck.
Draw a card.
Trying to think. I also cannot think of a method he would have of shuffling.
I mean, does he have a Hope Hollow? Maybe. Like, there's no way that he gets there, but probably.
You can verify. Let me take a look. There are no Hope Hollows.
Okay then.
And there is no searching elsewhere in the deck. So yeah, those breakdowns are there.
And well, 1
2.
in a mystery
Alley Big
position.
Mac.
Okay. Big Mac at least eats the stick again.
That's gonna be it. Pass to you.
Okay. Not gonna allow you to forget that.
Yes. Pass to you, and then the thing I did this turn.
Yes. I've done that before and it's too painful. Okay. 3 actions, some readies. Meticulous. Sure. I'll draw it.
You are getting a
I'm
pretty good
gonna-
taste of what your
1 for Heat Wave.
what that match against Smithers
Sure.
was kind of like.
Exhaust.
Uh-huh.
Cover. Applejack has no effect.
It's fine.
Makes sense.
All right. There's the
Take
Heat Wave.
my 1
Now we're
action.
starting to fight over the AT.
Mhm.
And it makes enough sense here because you have an opportunity to use it. You know you're going to be able to get value out of it right now, and you're going to want to flip Lyra eventually anyway. So
Point in using hooves.
Flipping Lyra, well, with that parachute in hand, well,
I don't think so.
parachute's a little bit late, honestly.
I'll take a point and back to you.
But still, a card that's worth discarding.
Okay.
that parachute would have been wonderful
Reactions.
just a few turns prior.
Draw card.
Another Heat
Oh my
Wave.
gosh.
Yeah, and you can tell he wants to flip Lyra over, but this is still a lot of value to discard. But as far as advancing his own board state goes, hey, well, he's not hurting for color with those fire friendships.
No, he's not. I don't know if there are any pink cards in his deck that have
just gonna
4
have
requirements.
to pass.
So it
I
may be possible
will-
to just, if you're anticipating flipping Lyra soon, to eat the pink fall.
Dismiss this fire for strength on big man.
Chooses to eat the orange one instead, so
Whoa.
that's an indicator. I would say that
Okay.
he's not going to flip Lyra soon.
Mhm.
All right, 3 actions. Ready. Meticulous. Oop. Sure.
One good thing to look at in a lot of deck
I will
matchups
take
is
these 3
not only what
actions.
you can do to gain momentum,
Mhm.
but what your options
well,
are to take it
Hold on,
back
before
or
you
to
go through all of
rebuild it,
those.
Oh, sure.
or kind of
I'll
reset it.
take one of them and then enter the
Control
main
deck
phase.
Play
Yeah.
a lot of board wipes.
I'm gonna do
Aggro decks can have
another heat wave.
cards that can generate a lot of value by bringing cards back from the discard pile or
Exhaust
giving
cover
you
to
discounts
cover,
to
and this
help you
time
set up your
take
board quickly, like
time
Angel
loop.
Wings. And then
Interesting.
of course there's options like Reanimator that just
Okay.
have a combination of both.
Then I will take this
Right.
action.
It is always challenging when you have a
And this
deck
action.
that is very efficient, incredibly efficient, and single-minded in its focus.
You don't play any board wipes,
so that your
I
hope is to
can
gain
just
momentum early
do
and then
too
never
much.
lose it.
That'd be fine.
Because if you ever do,
I'm gonna pay to draw.
the ability to get it back is significantly hampered. And a great example of this is in traditional Blue and Pink Hot Wings. That deck can go very quickly and does have some 1-for-1 disruption through cards like Belly Flop or Spitfire. But overall, if that deck finds itself put up against a wall and the opponent has enough action tokens and cards to protect that wall for even a single turn,
Okay.
it can
6
often
actions.
stop that deck
Well,
dead
we
in
do
its
this one
tracks.
at a time. 3
And
actions for a glimmer.
we're seeing a similar thing here
Okay.
where
Exhausted for an action.
Jacob, unfortunately, is just getting buried
3 actions
in
for a glimmer.
AT value on Josh's side of the field.
Oh, good.
And I mean
It's also
buried.
for an
We're now
action.
talking 6 AT generators to his
I will
none.
take 1 point. And back to you.
And without
Can't help
a
but
Catajack
feel breakdown would be
or
really
a method
helpful
of board
right
wipe
now.
and 2 of your breakdowns gone
Reaction,
and 2 of
ready
your
to
heat waves
draw.
used, just speaking, logistically,
Okay.
I don't see a way to come back from this.
Okay.
Yeah. This is
This is an insurmountable lead because there are no silver bullets. Not for what this board looks like right now.
this is
Let's do
the kind of board that definitely
1, 2, 3,
uh,
4
makes you reach for
for a berry punch.
your school shutdowns or whatever if you have them.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jacob doesn't have them.
And
I mean, you talk about when your opponent plays an AT generator like a Factory Jack to your none, and they're gaining 50% more action tokens than you are every turn. That's already rough. But we're not talking about that in this case. We are talking about Josh gaining 9 action tokens per turn
that'll be it.
to Jacob's 3. So we are
Be
talking
done there.
300% of your opponent's
End
AT.
phase. I'm gonna eat the other fire.
But credit where credit is due. Jacob
Oh,
is
draw it. Dang it! I forgot
a
my freaking.
competitive player
take it.
and a good sport here and is
Take that thing.
chugging along.
Great.
It is the sort of
Right.
well, I guess he is in the winners bracket, so
6
it's not
readies, 3
him
actions.
out of the tournament if he
Meticulous
loses
kicker.
this game. But
Top.
this is his
Draw it.
second loss in this best 2 of 3. So may as well play it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use hooves.
Wait.
Sorry, I will enter the main phase.
Before we get to main phase, bail out on hooves.
Blomp.
Okay. Bailout on hooves is to stop the sort of chaos reset. Give him a chance to beat Grogar.
Yep.
I'll pay to draw.
But sometimes your opponent is just really lucky.
Hate to see it, love to see it. 2 for hooves.
Ah!
I bail out again.
If you've got one and an action.
Have one of those two things.
These hooves.
You do indeed have the
That's the
card,
one.
but not the AT to play it.
Um,
Maybe Josh will loan you
2
one.
for Factory Jack.
He's got enough to spare.
Seen almost every one of my action gens. It's a bit early for that. I will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actions.
Uh-huh.
Um,
He has one, for what it's worth, as we sort of get into the ideal board state for him, he has one mismain in the discard pile he discarded super early. Has not seen his other one yet.
I'll spend 1
Does at least still
for
need to draw that.
Troublemaker.
Playing Grover,
Back to you.
which will...
Oh,
Wow.
good.
Oh, I
Alright.
do score a point.
It'll do something.
Many points as you like. 3 actions, ready. Draw a card. Okay, so Barry's 5. Uploaded.
Yep.
Still forever.
Grogar is
my
exhausted, so
God.
even with the Magicite on top of the deck,
Exhausted Grogar.
Jacob
So,
might
like,
win.
Well, he
maybe
has to
I
flip
can
higher
win
than a 4,
anyway.
and his deck has a
Yeah,
tendency to
just got out of
flip
flip
lower
before.
than
Right.
Josh's does. He has very few 4 flips, even fewer that are greater than
this
4.
one's down.
And if it does
But
tie
I
at
really
4,
don't want you to be flipping
his
yet.
odds of getting another flip that's higher are much less. As if you look at Josh's board state right now, most of his low flip cards are already in play.
Alright. I gotta try it. I'm gonna challenge Grogar.
But he's right. You got to go for it.
I do get an action for
5
that.
up. Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
And that's not going to do it.
Nope.
not a good flip.
But it does put the Magicite on the bottom, where
Okay,
it will
fine.
be, well, under normal
I
circumstances,
go
it
to
would be
main
harder to get
phase,
access to.
just
But of course,
draw.
Josh
Or
has these
maybe
second
I'm gonna be
boots.
flipping Lyra. Let's see. Oh, very much not good. I'm gonna pay 1 for a jest,
Shocked and appalled.
That is,
and I'm gonna pay 2 to flip Lyra.
yeah, just saving the dilemma by putting it in play.
Close.
Gotcha.
All right, 8 draws.
Up to 8
Let's see what you got.
again.
Oh, well, he's got
Oh my
one.
goodness.
Uh-huh.
No AT to use it yet.
Overhand limit now. I'm going to end of turn.
But the thing is, you remember what that face down troublemaker is?
I do not. I think I might have missed it. What is it?
It's a grubber.
Apple Bloom. As to you.
I don't even
Okay.
want to watch this.
Yeah,
3 actions.
this is
Ready.
definitely the part of the game where I really did start to feel sorry for Jacob
Meticulous 1.
for
Ah.
putting him through this game
Right.
as part of this tournament.
Yeah, this
Troublemaker
is
phase. Group air.
this is just not right.
Oh my god. No.
I'm an evil
That's
genius.
real bad.
All right, let me take some notes.
Think about it
So
too
yeah,
hard.
that's the third breakdown gone.
Yeah, okay. Just gotta make sure I know what you got. I'm gonna not
Do you
bother
really, though,
writing
Josh?
one of them though.
Do you actually need to know?
He is
I have no follow my leads yet.
gonna play this,
Not super
well,
meaningful in this game. Yeah, I'll hit breakdown.
the sort of conservative, smart way, and not take any unnecessary risks.
On the bright side, there are only like 2 turns.
Yeah, but
left.
there's an element of just lording the advantage over your
Go pay
opponent
to draw
here.
once,
Well,
twice, 3
yeah.
times,
he does still need to find the
4
second mismain.
times,
I mean, does he though?
5 times.
He's gaining a point every turn. and
Okay,
has
I will
removed
take
the
1,
wide
2,
majority
3,
of
4,
Josh's
5, 6,
or Jacob's
7
reliable
actions.
method of disrupting his board state,
Mhm.
is gaining
I will
3
pay
times
1 for
Jacob's action
Troublemaker
tokens
here.
every turn, and is blocking off multiple problems.
Mhm.
I mean, I am not saying you don't hit the breakdown there. Of course you hit the breakdown. It's not a choice. What I am saying is, if I was in this situation, if I was in Josh's shoes right now, even though it's my brother, even though it's a
little
high
dumb, but
level of
what
competition
is
in
this
the
deck
tournament,
for? But to do
I
things that are a little
would
dumb.
extend an
Torque
offer
wrench at
of
jest.
GGs to my opponent to see if they take it.
Right.
Score
That's fair.
phase. I confront just trading traditions
Uh-huh.
and back to you.
More action. Ready.
I'm just going to let things play out here. I don't have a whole lot I can say.
Yeah.
Main phase. We'll draw again. All right.
Do you want me to speed this up a little bit?
1 for an apple bloom.
Let's let them get their
Okay.
airtime.
Apple
That's
bloom.
fine.
Fair enough.
Discard.
Fair enough.
You could turn up their volume perhaps so we can hear their interaction, as they do seem to be talking back and forth. Just kind of
Sure. Let's do that.
Rayburn.
Let things play out here.
For a free pirate ship. Pirate ship. Pay 1 to move. Berry punch.
Oh, sorry. That gives me my Spotify playlist.
Cards. So once. All right. Or phase. Try to confront Jest.
I will spend 1 for Heat Wave. Take away Barry's ability.
Berry.
Exhaust Lyra, I guess.
All right. I have an exhausted 0 power friend. Good.
Oh, man.
Okay. That's what I got.
Torque Wrench. I'll use her to kill Pirate Ship.
Oh, why not?
Okay. Back to me. 4 actions. Readies. Meticulous 1. Bottom. It was a factory jack, too.
Good for you.
Draw a card.
I'm gonna play my heat wave.
Sure.
I'm hitting your hooves. The action gens are beyond critical mass.
Okay. Maker phase. This comes up. I will exhaust this one. I think it may behoove me to spend 1 action for 3 strength this time around. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actions.
Don't you have 2 mist mains yet?
I don't. Pay to draw once. Fine. Issue being it's actually not very good. Pay for that. 2 to use Mistmane from discard.
Okay, what does she do? I discard 3 cards off the top of my deck?
Yeah, both of us do, and she goes into my hand.
Follow my lead. Just follow my lead.
Wow, okay.
I mean, using
Mine were
Mistmane in that way
Napkigs,
does let you
Grogar,
get
Torque Wrench.
3 cards deeper.
Or better.
Mhm.
But I'm guessing irrelevant.
I mean, probably. I don't know. I don't have this wrapped up or anything.
This turn.
Okay, why do you make a comment like that?
All right, fair enough.
You paid for Mistmane?
Yes,
Did you do it again?
I guess
maybe.
for
In
those doing the
time.
math, he's going to confront a problem this turn, so
Okay.
he'll be 7. 8 times 3 is 20. 24 AT is the magic number.
Well, he won't even need 24 because he can just go for another confront.
Right.
In fact, he can go for another 2.
2 for stick. 1 for barrel into pink. I'll put it back.
I know what pink does.
1 for Fernando. That gets me a draw.
This will go after Big Mac to protect the stick, I'd imagine. Maybe not. Maybe it goes after Berry Punch, but you still have the Heat Wave for that.
Mhm.
One to use stick challenging Big Eater. I will put this on top of my deck.
The closest fight I was gonna get. I flipped Haven back. Okay. Also frightened.
Also frightened. Okay. 2 for hooves. I'll use them. Oop. This one I got, probably. Yeah.
Random question for you, by the way, Grandpa, that I've been thinking about.
Yes.
Um, is it defined in the rules where exactly dilemmas get played? Like
What do you mean where they get played?
like most people play them between the problems, but you can put them to either side of the problems as you like, right?
There are no rules that exist anywhere in the game for how the board has to be set up.
I see. Okay. Yeah, it had struck me that they're
Okay.
given the way we
I
play
will
dilemmas and
confront your
such.
trading traditions.
It might make sense to
And
have text
back
that
to you.
references like adjacent problems or something like that.
Ready,
but
ready.
if that's not a
Action.
rules concept, then yeah, I guess that doesn't
Draw.
make sense.
It is not a rules concept, and
Alright.
generally
make your
speaking,
face.
you don't want to suddenly
going to
create
challenge.
one or more cards that require
with Apple
unordered zones to
Bloom.
be ordered.
On up.
If that
Okay.
hasn't been in place from the beginning of the game. And a good example
That's
I
a
would
tie.
point to of this would be certain cards that
That's a
exist
tie.
only in legacy or older formats of Magic the Gathering that care about
That's yours.
ordering
7.
the graveyard. Meaning that
That's
Alright.
my
any
first point
newer
of the game.
format,
Not a
the
shutout.
graveyard is an unordered zone.
Well
You
earned.
can look through it and rearrange cards to help you see what's available and keep track of everything as much as you want. And the instant you step into Legacy, you start taking game penalties if you mess with your graveyard.
Right.
Even if your
And
opponent
we'll go
doesn't
for the
have
other
that card,
Grogar.
even if you don't have that card, even if there's no effect that
This
cares
time
about
I
it in
am
play,
4 up.
all of a sudden the rules for how you play and set up the game are different. And that
Did
is a very
I
disruptive
will use Heat
element, in
Wave.
my opinion.
Both targeting Berry.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Good question, though.
In that case, I lose.
You're right, though. Most people do
Missed
play
prepared
dilemmas in the
trigger. Is
center,
it
and that does make
optional?
sense
No.
because generally speaking, tournaments are set up at long tables where players are sitting side by
Alright.
side next to other games taking place,
And
and you don't want to
then-
play your cards too far on either side lest you interfere with their games or have cards fall off the edge of the table. And plus, you get awesome memes like Paige's popper
Ew.
thing.
Yep.
So the middle
Big
just makes the most
Mac.
sense.
Win a face-off if we had one. It'd be 5-on-5, and you'd get another action.
Jacob is on the board. I think he probably scored that. We were discussing that.
I don't
Yes,
think that's
he
even worth
defeated
it.
one of the
Which
pro
is a
guards.
shame since it would at least double my score. I'm gonna pass it then. End of turn, eat your stick.
Okay.
But it is definitely safe to say that Jacob has
All
been
right.
expecting the game to end the last
Maybe.
like 3
4
turns now. So
actions. Readies. Meticulous 1.
And I guess that's just going to be a matter of personal preference.
Yeah, I'll keep that.
There's either
Alright.
an element of pride or
Doesn't look like it.
competitiveness
I'm gonna pay
or
to draw
sportsmanship
once.
or however you view it.
Twice.
That's again going to really just come
3
down to personal opinion.
times. Pay for those.
And that is totally fine. It is not for me. The sportsmanship is, and the competitive nature to a point.
Exhaust Grogar for an action,
right.
They clearly want to play this thing to completion.
as well as these 3.
Okay. That exhaust pattern implies he's definitely confronting this turn.
Yeah. And I also think the a key indicator here of whether or not Jacob is just doing this because it's just something that they, hold as a pattern of behavior that they will use is whether or not he's going to take a card back when the Miss Main is played.
Nope, does not look
If
like
Jacob
it's gonna
takes a
happen
card
this
back here, this is a
I'll exhaust these 3.
a token gesture.
Right. Saying, you just get some points.
Yeah. Then I will score on trading traditions if you let me,
I let you.
and discard parachute to hand. Back to you.
More actions, ready.
But I guess we're not quite there yet.
Oh, gee.
We'll definitely be there next turn.
Oh yeah. It is
Draw with
it's of course worth pointing out that there are a number of ways that the Miss Main thing could be stopped. Again, we've talked about the fact that Desert Road is a card that will stop Miss Main from working, and Jacob's only method of removing Desert Road is with the Torque Wrench.
How many times do I have to dig to find the breakdowns again?
And Torque Wrench is large enough that she could be dismissed by
Yikes amount.
a food fight. And in fact, Jacob has enough action
God,
tokens
maybe it's
to
only
do
like 6.
exactly that.
Still.
So if he so chose, that is an option. You'd need to play the food fight first, and of course that's going to
exactly enough actions
cause
to not accomplish
Josh
anything.
to use a golden parachute from the discard pile, but it still exists.
Mhm.
And in fact, it may even be worth noting that the golden parachutes might be in there for exactly the reason we were discussing earlier, which is Torque Wrench's vulnerability is the only source of resource removal, just as much as they are in there to either protect an AT generator or keep more than one friend around when you play a Catjack.
Right.
It's over, so here's 3.
So it is.
Desert Road.
It is not like
Wow.
I know Josh is a very
Due for the
intelligent, very
food
clever
fight.
player and a very skilled
Just
deck
now.
builder. I am
ignore.
sure that
Thank goodness.
that was a
That'd
calculated
be a
risk that he
problem.
ended up taking in this deck's construction, and not
And then
not
one
an
for a
oversight.
food
That
fight.
was
That
merely
card
giving him a hard
costs,
time
right?
about it.
Okay, I got nothing else. For you, guessing I'm out of time.
Yes. Okay, 4 actions. Ready.
And he has played the Desert Road.
Meticulous.
And he did play the food
Bottom.
fight the way that you had
Draw
recommended.
card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But this
I will take 1,
should be the end for sure.
2,
Yeah.
3, 4 actions. One. To play this bailout. Oh, very meaningful. Oh, wow.
Yep.
I'll discard a barrel. I'll bail out Mac. I'll eat the road.
And now he has more than enough action tokens to do this, even if Jacob doesn't take back a card.
Okay.
So as soon as the second Miss Main hits
Barrel into white.
then-
Take it back.
because again, all he knows is that there's one in hand.
Main for 3. Taking back a heat wave. Do you want anything?
Oh,
Um, I will mist main.
six
Six-
times for 18
six
actions.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even have to confront. Okay. Yeah. Just 6 times. That's it.
Okay,
All right.
that was
And that's that.
miserable.
That's that.
Yeah,
I
that-
am so frustrated with those breakdowns.
I mean, Applejack, turn 1 Applejack into something that can protect Applejack is the perfect start. So I got
Yeah, I mean,
very
for
lucky.
real. Like, oh man. I had the turn 1, well, turn 2 response to it.
Yep.
And there we go. So yeah, 2 games, but Josh is the winner.
Congratulations, Josh.
Mhm.
Valiant effort, Jacob.
Absolutely. So I actually have the bracket here. I'll just quickly show it to the stream.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Jacob has run into scheduling issues now, and so he has dropped out of the tournament. Although he was happy that he was at least dropping out of the lower bracket and not causing too much of an issue. So what that means is that the winner of Smithers versus Pancake is going to go straight through. Good for him, I guess.
To the lower bracket finals.
To the lower bracket semifinals. But the lower bracket finals is, well, okay,
The lower bracket finals, they will go straight through to, and then the winner of that match will go through to the grand finals.
yes. Well, meanwhile, Josh is through to the winners bracket final, where he will play against the winner of your next match versus Bugle,
Oh boy!
which will be our next game next Saturday. So yeah, have that to look forward to, I guess.
Should be exciting.
We appreciate the games that Jacob was able to have with us. And of course, always we're willing to welcome him back to the tournament whenever he's able.
Always to see him compete. Remember, he had a very strong showing in the Continentals tournament last year as well.
It's true. Otherwise, I think that wraps us up here tonight. Thank you very much for being on with me, especially on such short notice.
Yep, of course. Thank you to all of the participants for continuing to provide some great entertainment and content for the community, and of course to Cursed and the rest of Meticulous Talks for organizing this thing. It's becoming an annual tradition, as it's happened 2 years in a row now.
I guess so, strictly speaking. Yeah.
So we are very appreciative of it, and we'll continue to look forward to playing or watching as the tournament kind of rounds itself out.
Yeah. We still have, let me see, semifinal, final, and the lower. Yeah, we still have like 3 or 4 weeks of content still to go here.
Oh boy!
Otherwise, yeah, thank you everyone for sticking around and watching. This stream will be going up to YouTube on Monday, and while there, check out Smithers and Pancake. Again, not going to say who won that match yet. It's up for you to figure out or find out, I guess.
Yep.
Otherwise, I think, yeah, I should say good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
See you next week.